Excited to be here with Melissa Joy. We are talking about financial wellness in a bear market. I will let Melissa introduce herself in just a second. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lindsay Bryan-Podvin. I'm a financial therapist. What that means is I'm a traditionally trained therapist who's had some additional training in the psychology of money to help serve clients in that area. And I will pass it to Melissa to introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Melissa Joy, and I'm a certified financial planner, and I work with people to make financial decisions and help them with their investment decisions as well.
Yay. So we are going to first, just so you guys all know what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about just stress in general, and then we'll talk about some of the practicalities of what you can do in terms of coping with a bear market.
Yeah. So I feel that uncertain times, and certainly the last couple of weeks, things have changed day to day. We're recording this on Wednesday, March 18th, just for context. Physically you have reactions to stress and to uncertainty. And I know you, Lindsay, have perspective on what's going on in our bodies. And I hope you could share, how we can kind of diagnose ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So stress, anxiety, worry, those are all normal feelings. And our body is built to respond to those things, which we're all familiar with. The three common responses physically to stress are fight, flight, and freeze. And we know how that feels. So when a stressor is coming at us, our body defaults into fight, flight, or freeze. And so fight might feel like your muscles tensing up. It might feel like additional heat in your body. Your heart might race because you're getting ready to actually fight. Flight is exactly what that sounds like. It's about leaving the stressor. So it's about getting your heart pumping, your adrenaline going, so you can take off. And then freeze is about holding still and kind of freezing. And all of those things might come along with some additional physical stressors. You might get a bit of a headache, your jaw might feel tight, you might feel tight or tense in your throat. Your stomach, of course, is going to be acting up because it's trying to do all of these things. You might feel tingling in your hands. And all of that is normal to respond to a short-term stressor. So what happens when it becomes a long-term stressor, when that stress doesn't leave, is that then our body kind of starts to get overloaded. And that's when we can start to make decisions in panic and react probably not in the wisest way that we would if we weren't undergoing so much stress. So in times of what I'd like to call chronic stress, it's extra important that you take care of your physical and mental self to try and dial down your body's reaction naturally to stress. So all of the things that you already know to do, it's going to be important to double or even triple down on them. So making sure that you're sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, making sure you're drinking a lot of water during this time, making sure that you're moving your body. And the beautiful thing about the situation that we are currently in is that the CDC says it's perfectly fine to go out and get some fresh air. So making sure that you're doubling down on those things and making sure to give your mind a break. So putting down your phone, putting away social media as needed, maybe watching totally mindless television or old movies that bring you joy. My friend streamed, he's a DJ, he streamed like an hour-long DJ dance party in your house. So like listening to music and moving your body, all of those things are going to be super important right now.
I think that's such good advice. And I am encouraging people, they keep posting their kids' schedules for the day when they're out of school and you're the stay-at-home parent teacher / worker, that you can develop your own routines and write down that, you're in a disrupted routine right now for many people, and you can write down what you're doing. I scheduled a virtual Zoom wine hangout with some friends for this weekend. So I knew everybody was probably free. And so we're going to get together across the miles. It was a great opportunity to get together with some friends that I'm not typically with in a group.
That is a great idea. So for others, Melissa, what would you say are smart money moves that they can make in a bear market that are really rooted in like groundedness and level-headedness and not in that panic or stress mode?
Well, I think it's really important to acknowledge your stress, fear, or anger. So expressing that vocally with a professional like a financial planner is valid, very valid. And like you just described, those feelings are very real in all of us. And then if you can separate out your reactions and your decisions from those emotions, it's difficult to completely separate them, but make your decisions in context of your financial plan if you do have one. Conversations I'm having with people are about how much cash do they have on hand, what's changing in their lives, how long would the money last? And also people are used to spending more than they will likely be spending right now because there are changes to how we consume goods. We're not going many places other than the grocery store. We don't have as much, filling up at the pump and things like that. So all of those things we're talking through, your current situation and then making incremental changes instead of doing that fear reaction, which is just to bail on everything, or a super, like I've got money and I just want to throw it all at the market right now. Everything needs to be in context with your personal circumstances. And that can really help.
So can you do like a very quick overview for folks of just what a bear market is, and is this normal? Have we experienced this before?
Right. So bear markets happen. A bear market is a more than 20% pullback in the stock market, and it happens pretty regularly. It typically happens once about every 7 years, but it's been longer. So we had a really bad bear market in 2008 and 2009 that was accompanied by a recession, which was a contraction of economic activity for 2 quarters. And it's likely that we are entering a recession right now. The question is, how long does that last? It's interesting because stocks tend to start to recover before recessions end, or economists can show that they end. And it's specifically referring to stocks. So keep in mind that as an investor, you may own a variety of different things. You may have cash, you may have bonds. This is particularly referring to stocks. And it's super easy if you're looking back on previous recessions, when you see a time when things have gone down, to say, oh, you know what, I've got this. I would be buying on that day. It looks like such a steal. And the reality is, because of all the emotions going on, because of uncertainty, because the world is changing, that it is very difficult to make decisions that will be opportunistic. So picking the right moment or the perfect time is very challenging. What I encourage people to do is have an investment process and maintain that investment process with adjustments based on your personal circumstances through a bear market. This is the 3rd bear market that I've lived through as a financial professional. And so I really use perspective. I encourage people to take notes or do either a video journal or write in a journal and talk about how you're feeling, because it'll be an important kind of archival document for you to refer to as you make investment decisions in the future.
Okay, awesome. So to recap for everyone, stress is normal, and there are things we can do to dial down that stress, which includes doubling down on things to take care of ourselves. Financial wellness is paramount right now. And what I'm hearing you say, Melissa, is we've lived through bear markets before. And if history repeats itself, we will live through this one as well. And in terms of day to day, we're kind of in a, dare I say, good situation to be dialing back spending just because of the nature of our world right now. Is that about right?
Yeah, you're probably making those decisions already. And if you reflected on how you're going to spend money over the next few weeks, you would be able to see that. So it would be something that was real to you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so glad we were able to do this quick little coffee chat, and I hope that helps to put some people's minds, bodies, and wallets at ease.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. This was great to be able to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Okay, you too.